And, we got some we had a story last week. We really didn't get to cover it, but it's about Governor Andrew Cuomo and how during the crisis, remember, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, but he required nursing homes to take residents in from hospitals who had tested positive for COVID, for coronavirus. He required them. By the way, he made everybody immune for all this, too. Anything bad that might happen, there was immunity. I mean, it wasn't just him, but the legislature, everybody else made people in New York immune for all of this. And they put all these people who were sick in the exact wrong place with a bunch of other people who were old. Because what do we know? Who does coronavirus and COVID get? It mostly gets the old people. That's the highest mortality rate in terms of people who get it. Young people generally are okay. Now, granted, there are people who have gotten sick of all ages. There's no doubt about that. But the highest mortality rate is among the elderly. So let's take sick people who have this particular virus and let's stick them in the nursing homes. And that's what he did. And then he was getting requests from the federal government for information about exactly how many people had died during this crisis as a result of his policy, right? That's directly as a result of his policy. And you know what they did? They stonewalled the government. First of all, they officially reported a much lower number. In mid-January, they were officially reporting about 8,500 elderly people had died in nursing homes. They've self-corrected now that the Biden administration is in place. You know what now they've said the number is? It's about 12,750. So a full 50% more than what they admitted to previously in their public reporting. And they didn't say, hey, we're not going to tell you the truth here, but the number's 8,500. No, they said, we're telling you the truth and the number's 8,500, but they knew they were lying. They were specifically and purposefully undercounting it. And all during this process from about August of last year, when they've been getting requests for the information from the federal government, they literally stonewalled the federal government on providing that death information. And this was revealed by one of Cuomo's top aides on a conference call recently with Democratic lawmakers. Her name is Melissa DeRosa. Interestingly enough, her mother-in-law is Audrey Strauss, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. And she admitted that they were concerned that the U.S. Department of Justice would prosecute them. And that's why they didn't want to give over the numbers. I mean, the abject criminality. And remember, this is the guy who President Biden says did the gold standard of coronavirus responses, right? Because they got to criticize a guy like Ron DeSantis, but a guy like Andrew Cuomo, he was the gold standard. Well, if he's the gold standard, I mean, you got to wonder what scale they're measuring it on, right? I mean, how could that be the gold standard? How could killing all of those poor old people in New York? I mean, let's just face it. Look at all the New Yorkers who have moved to Florida. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they came here? Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.